Meet the 2023 Toyota Prius. It's a hell of a good one. Okay, as you can see by the front fascia, a lot sleeker than anything you've ever seen. Look at these LEDs embedded into that front fascia. This lower cowl with the opening, it is a grille shuttered opening. It just combines to make it a much nicer looking Prius. You got nice hood creases. Moving into the profile, it's basically a P51 Mustang wing with no trailing edge. That's how they got the aerodynamics. They did move the apex of the top back by 2 inches, so the coefficient of drag at 0.27 is a little higher, but because it's 2 inches lower, even though it's 1 inch wider, 1 inch longer, the overall aerodynamics are exactly the same as the previous Prius, so you didn't gain anything there. New 19-inch alloys, gloss black cladding, and everything just looks smooth. You got beautiful cutouts in the rocker panels. A little bit low in the back. Glass roof on the XLE is an option for another $1,000. The new handle is not in the door, but actually in here. Okay, it's a little tight getting in and out versus the previous gen Prius. Legroom is almost the same, even though we've got another 1.5 inches of wheelbase. And moving to the back, again, this sweep is just a gorgeous sweep. This car just looks so good from a Prius perspective that I wish I owned it now. Again, going into this low, slim type head tail lamps. The Prius logo is much bigger, and then of course you got the Beyond Zero for the first time on a Toyota. So that does it with the exterior. Interior's coming next. Let's get in. Okay, start off the 12.3 inch display, again limited. Looks like about an 8-inch driver display. And you can see I've got this wheel adjusted just for me. I can just see above it where the BZ4X, that wheel kind of cut it off in half. So they did change that a little bit, made it better. The headliner, it's like a cloth texture, but the A-pillar is no longer cloth texture, it's a plastic. Interior plastics are a little hard. You can see that they did fix sort of the sun visor. It does cover, but there's a gap now on the top. Better than anything before. It's a frameless mirror that you can actually turn into a camera. I get nauseous with those. Plenty of USB. There's actually like 6 in this car. Cup holders abound. And a center display? Really? In a Prius? Yes, very good. Now I'm adjusted. It's a lower hip point than the others because they lowered the roof line by 2 inches. So getting in and out of the driver's seat is just fine. Oh, also that LED light bar is cool as hell, and especially in red and like in the prime, it really stands out. So we've got that kind of figured out, but no sunglass holder, which is unfortunate. But now that we're here, we'll get into the back. Notice how we open the door. Ah! There's definitely less room in here than the current Prius and Prius Prime, and your head's going to hit that pretty good when you try and get in and out. You have to duck. These are rear seat heaters, and there's another set of ports for the back seat riders. Again, the interior looks good, a little tighter, and that lower roof line, it helps aerodynamics and looks cool, but like most of these really low roof lines, trying to get in and out is a little tough. We're driving around Del Mar, California, which is a very high-end suburb of San Diego. It's right along the coast. It's just 3 towns over from where I live in Carlsbad. View out the window, that's the Pacific Ocean. It's a wonderful 63 degrees in mid-December here, as California is known to have the best weather in the world. It truly is. In any case, we're driving the 2023 Prius, and this is definitely a different Prius. They've done everything to make it more amenable for the performance-oriented or minded driver, meaning its road holding capabilities are vastly improved. I'm going to say skid pad from 0.81 to 0.91, maybe 0.95 even, because of the 19-inch low-profile tires that they've added from the old 15 195 55, 65, 15s that are on the 410 Prius, 17s on the higher end. But those 19s also cause a little trouble in that, one is they're one-offs, they're proprietary to the Prius, so they don't have any manufacturers other than this one brand. And hopefully by the time it's out, there'll be 3 or 4 brands that will manufacture tires. But 19 low profile tires are usually about double what a 15-inch tire would normally be. So there's going to be a replacement. It's an upcharge, double. Also, the 19s on the XLE and Limited, they cost, it's not just a cost, but it's an MPG hit of almost 10%. You go from 52 combined from 57 combined on the LE. And we don't have any LEs here to drive, but you can feel it. On my highway run, it's about 85, or city suburban run on the coast highway is about 85, and on the all highway run into the wind it was 57. With the wind it was 67 with some traffic side on both sides. So it was over 60 at 60 miles an hour. Set to cruise and go 10 plus miles with a reset on the fly. So, and those are perfectly reasonable for a 52 mile per gallon car to do that. It's fantastic. However, the LE will be much more efficient than that just because of the 17s. Get that out of the way. We also have a slight problem with this wheel and this column feels like excuse me, came from the BZ4X, and that means that the wheel cuts off the odometer and the trip meter. I have to actually look up to see those. I can see that my MPG meters, I can see my charge and regen braking meters, I can see the speed meters, time, exterior temperature, but I can't see the odometer and trip meter unless I look up a little bit. Those are the two negatives. Cargo, there's another little one in that they've gone down to about 20 and a half cubic feet in the Limited and XLE, and 23 and a half or so for the LE. You can get a donut spare, and I'm not sure if it'll be in the North American market. You might have to get it from an Asian market or European market, but you'll be able to fit that into the XLE and the Limited. But the deck is too low on the LE. There's 2 different decks. Now, when this first came out in the static in Los Angeles, I thought that coefficient drag would be about 0.22 because it looks to me like the profile of a P51 Mustang wing minus the trailing edge. But they're telling me it's a 0.27. So what they told me is that they raised the apex of where the curve starts further back, and that increased drag. 0.25 to 0.27, so there was a hit there, but they've lowered the height of the car by 2 inches. It's 1 inch wider, it's 1 inch longer. Combined, CD times A, which is actually the force that you're going to be having to push through, is approximately exactly the same as the prior gen, 4th gen Prius. So there was no aerodynamic improvement, despite it looking like it really is raked. I mean, this front end is raked, and frontal area just looks really tight. But to get 57 miles per gallon in the LE, and it might even be higher once that's finally released, and 52 from this, and the 52 feels right if the fuel consumption displays are calibrated as they should be. I think you're doing well there too. What else can you do that in? Just driving around, you're going to get 60 miles per gallon. It doesn't matter if you're in an Ioniq hybrid or a Civic hybrid, Insight hybrid that's discontinued. You do not get this kind of efficiency out of those. You just don't. So you have a little bit of storage problem, a little trouble with the 19s, little display issue here, but outside of that, you got this two-tone, I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but there's 2 tones of plastic here. It's not cloth textured anymore. It is plastic, but there is a 2-tone look to it. It's a cloth textured headliner, but it doesn't quite feel as nice as the other one. And also, the XLE and Limited, you can get this glass roof. Adds about $1,000. And you get a 12.3 inch display, which is like $735 extra on the XLE. And it's kind of worth it because you can have your phone call in one side screen, you can have your maps still on the main screen and you don't lose anything. It's like a 10-inch map. I think that even though the LE at 27.4 plus a 1095 destination handling, and then you get the XLE at I think it was around 29.5 or something, and then 34 for the limited. I don't know. I'll have to check on that XLE. I'll put it as a layover. But $1,400 added to to any of the 3 trims with all-wheel drive if you deem that necessary. If you're a Prius driver, especially here in Southern California, you don't need all-wheel drive. But if you're in the mountains, it's a thought. You do lose a little bit of fuel economy. Performance-wise, this thing is awesome. It's not just the 0 to 60; it's 25% quicker to 60 than the previous gen. There's 60% more horsepower available. 150 from the motor versus 101 or 107 or something from the previous gen. And then the electric motor, they've added some cores to the stator, so there's just more output, even though it's a smaller, tighter core that's driving MG2, which drives the vehicle. And you definitely can feel it. That's 6.5, 6.6 on the Prime, 7.2 in the standard all-wheel drive, 7.0 to 60. It's plenty fast, and you can feel it. But another aspect, and again, it goes to the 19s, the positives to that is turn-in is excellent. But they've tuned the suspension so that it really has a flat layout around corners. I took a roundabout at about 35 when it was supposed to be 15. It's like just spun in, spun out. It's like, wow, incredible. The infotainment, you saw how fast it paired, and you just drop the phone in. The Qi charge is working, and that's standard on the XLE and the Limited. Because it's wireless Android Auto, wireless Apple CarPlay, I don't even want to go to Toyota. I don't care what they've done in the background. I care that they've made wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay work as good as it does. Works as good or better than everybody else's system finally, thanks to that tech group in Plano. And they're not at the bottom anymore. They're near the top, if not at the top, with how this works. I've never seen a glitch in all the Toyotas that I've driven with it. This new infotainment system is really kick-ass. Now, the Limited comes with a JBL system. I'm not a fan of JBL systems. They're pricey. I mean, it comes standard with some of the packages or whatever, but it's pricey, and I don't really feel that you get much bang for the buck there. It's not like something you get from a German automobile's audio system. Good, but not blow your mind out great. So if you can forgo that, and in fact, I think the XLE is the way to go, except for trying to get 17s put on the XLE, which it doesn't come with. These 19s, they're fuel robbing, they're very expensive to replace, and they only last maybe 40,000 miles, so you're going to replace them a lot more often. If you can find somebody with an LE, swap them, say, hey, here's the performance tires off of the XLE and Limited. Just take their wheels and you'll be great. You'll get the efficiency back, lower cost of ownership, and a slightly more comfortable ride because there's more profile space there. And I think it just makes sense. Buy the XLE because you get all soft techs all around, heated steering wheel, heated seats. You get the display for $735 extra. If you want the glass roof for another $1,000, great. If not, that's okay too. The seats are more comfortable than the 4th gen, more comfortable than the 3rd gen, more comfortable than the 2nd gen, more comfortable than the 1st gen, because they made them flatter and they also made them a little longer, so it's just more supportive for a taller driver like myself. And finally, the TSS 3.0, which is all the safety equipment. One of the things is the lane keep assist systems that are built into this car are now, if not best in class, at the best in class. You can say, oh, well, Tesla has self-driving. It's not self-driving. It's maybe autonomy 2.5. It's not even close to self-driving, and it kicks off all the time. This thing going down the interstate with radar cruise control on, it's just a dream to drive. You don't have to fight the wheel. It just does exactly what you're supposed to do. So that concludes what I have to say about this Prius. It's interior-wise a new central display, even though the wheel cuts off the bottom of it. Beautiful 12.3-inch display for Navi and audio in another display, or telephoning. You can put your telephone call in the display, in the small or the large display, however you want. It just works. And will I be replacing my 4th Gen Prius Prime, which it's not a great car, but it's the most efficient and the lowest total cost ownership car for doing what I do, which is courier work. When you're crossing the country again and again and again, you need something that is reliable, dependable, efficient, and has a low total cost of ownership. You can't beat a Prius Prime. And this is more relaxing, and in the Prime you get more electric. We don't know anything about if it's going to go to a 6.6 kilowatt charger like the RAV4 Prime yet either, but we're hoping to hear a lot of good things about that upcoming Prime. And as far as a Prius goes, I would take this today. I wouldn't pay full price. I'd wait till there's a $2,500 rebate and $2,000 from the dealer, so you can get that knocked back to, you know, maybe for the XLE 24 grand or something, which it may not happen this year, but sometime in 2024 it will. If you can wait and make the purchase then. And the same thing with the Prime. You want to see maybe a $4,500 rebate, a $2,000 lower on the deal from a dealership. And in California, you'll probably see a $1,500 rebate because it has over 30 miles per gallon, or 30 miles of all electric range. So you get a $1,500 tax credit there, or $1,000, and maybe even a green car credit, which I don't know if that's available still here in California or not, but it was available, offered another $900. So you can get the brand new 2023 Prius Prime and maybe 2024 in another year and a half down to, let's hope, because we don't know the pricing on that yet, let's say 25,000, maybe 23,000, which is a steal for a Prime. And I've got 137,000 on mine. I'm hoping it'll make it without any issues other than oil changes and tires to a 250. And I have no doubts that this will do the same thing, except it's a much nicer looking vehicle. Fall carbon fiber interior, the blue LED inlays, a new center display, center stack. Controls are laid out better. Stick is here. 6 USB-C ports. You know, it's all the modern equivalent. So that ends our time with the Prius Prime, or the Prius from 2023, the new 5th Gen. And we're looking forward to driving the Prius Prime, hopefully in March or April. Del Mar, California. Enjoying the easy cruise along the Pacific.